Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Labosco from the Elventus production team, and today we're going to be talking about managing tilt.
Never become a monster to defeat one.
I'm sure most of you are quite familiar with tilt, as it's one of the main contributors to the toxicity that the League community is known for. Tilt is essentially when a change in your mental or emotional state causes you to use a less than optimal strategy. Tilt can result in not being fully focused, giving up on the game, surrendering, going AFK, intentionally feeding, flaming your teammates, or breaking your keyboard in half. Seems like less than optimal doesn't quite do some of these justice. To boil it down, tilt is when your emotions negatively affect your gameplay. Even an emotion like being too excited can have these effects too. One of the things that people don't realize about tilt is that it's much easier to prevent than to deal with it after it's gotten out of control. Tilt starts off really small. However, once something gets you a little tilted, it starts to multiply. You get slightly annoyed that you missed a CS, you miss a skill shot, you almost get a kill, your teammate makes a mistake. These all multiply until you become tilted. Once you become tilted, you reach a point of no return. Once you reach this point, you need time or extensive measures to be able to completely reset and get it out of your system. This is the main reason why the number one strategy for dealing with tilt is to prevent it from happening at all and to deal with it in its early stages. Considering prevention is the best medicine for tilt, it should come as no surprise that the steps you take before the game are going to be some of the most effective. One of the easiest things you can do is to make sure you are going into each game fresh and focused. We went over this topic extensively in one of our previous videos on tips to stay focused in solo queue, so we're just going to gloss over some of the key points here. However, if you want to know more about staying focused, we'll have a link to that video in the description below. First of all, make sure you are well fed. If you're constantly thinking about the leftover pizza in your fridge during the game, the only thing you're going to be feeding is the enemy team. Next, check in with your emotions. Are you feeling anxious, angry, any sort of negative emotion? We define tilt as emotions negatively impacting your gameplay. And if you notice these emotions, choosing to play at a different time will drastically improve the quality of your games. Next, don't play when you are exhausted from work or tired from lack of sleep. These are things that will lower your ability to handle the ups and downs of solo queue and very easily lead you to the rabbit hole of tilt and loss streaks. One of the last things to remember for keeping focused is to take each game seriously and bring your A game every game. If you improve the quality of each game you play, you will climb faster with less games played. As a bonus, the more high-quality games you play, the less overall bad games there will be to tilt you. Another important tool that can make or break whether games tilt you or how tilted you get is your mindset. Focusing on your own performance and growth can help to decrease the amount of tilt you have in your games. This is especially helpful for players who get tilted at their teammates' mistakes, because oftentimes their focus is on winning and how other people lower their chances of coming out on top. While it is true that your teammates affect your chance of winning, there are many players who have climbed out of your elo and reached very high ranks despite poor teammates. If you shift your focus to growth and improving your skill, the rank and climb will naturally follow. Another mindset shift that can help you improve your ability to climb is focusing on the long term. This is because another major source of tilt is wanting to win that one game. This is especially true if you're one game from plat for the 5th time and you get a Teemo jungler that dies to your laner 3 minutes into the game and hands them double buffs. This is an absolutely unlucky scenario that you can be in. But if you want to see success, you have to build patience. If you keep making the right plays, the right calls, the right decisions, the results will come. You have to remember you aren't playing to win 20 LP today, but 400 LP a few months to a year from now. One last thing that can help a lot with having a strong pregame mindset is meditation. We also covered this topic in our focus video, which again, there will be a link in the description for that down below. But there is scientific evidence that meditation can help reduce stress, anxiety, and the effects they have on us. Since tilt comes from emotions, being able to sit with your emotions and not let them run the show will help you tremendously in preventing tilt in your game. Alright, so let's say you got your pregame routine down and you're ready to go, but something happens in your game that starts to tilt you. There are also plenty of ways to deal with tilt in the moment. The first thing to keep in mind is tilt always starts small. While keeping this in mind, you can apply some of these techniques when you notice the start of tilt. The first thing you can do are some breathing techniques. A simple start is to take 3 deep breaths whenever anything gets a slight rise out of you. It can be as small as missing a CS, dying to Gromp, missing a smite, among other small errors. The next technique that is most preventative is to utilize chat mutes. The easiest thing to do is disable all chat outright, especially if you're playing ranked. This is because the enemy team is trying to win against you, so they will have no useful information for you 99% of the time anyways. And oftentimes, they'll just try to get under your skin to make you tilt. Bringing this to another level, you can mute your teammates whenever they say anything unproductive or toxic. You can even mute the chat preemptively if you make a bad mistake that people could flame you for. Lastly, if you are on a tilt spree or teammates have been affecting you constantly, you can disable team chat completely to ensure that you are in the best shape when you play. Muting your team has the benefit of minimizing the damage because if you mute them, you aren't engaging in their behavior. And I'm sure you all know that talking to the 07 Udyr who is flaming you for dying twice in lane isn't going to help you achieve your ranked goals. These strategies can help you deal with tilt in its early stages. When tilt starts to grow and starts running the show, that's when you have to start taking more drastic measures to deal with it. You need to have a way to mentally reset. This is because your mind isn't focused on how you can win anymore, but it's focused on why you can't. Taking some deep breaths or focusing on your breathing can be a good way to help you reset. You can also get up and simply stretch to shift your mind from the game for a quick moment. However, if situations get dire, you can start to implement more intensive techniques. If you're really tilted, you can go out and get some fresh air really fast, or just do some quick exercises. You can spend a small time away from the computer. If it gets you in the right frame of mind, it will be infinitely more valuable than autopiloting the rest of the game on tilt. The goal of this mental reset is to bring your mindset back to focusing on how you can win or learn from the game, instead of why you're losing. The next technique for handling tilt is to focus on small goals. When tilted, we're often focused on the big picture. We're so focused on how hard it is to win the game as a whole. Because this is a very big goal, it can be very hard to feel like we have any control over the situation. Instead of focusing on winning the game, which can feel very out of control, focus on smaller goals that are in your control. Here are some examples. Can I increase my chance of winning by even 1%? Instead of trying to win, I'm going to try my best and learn. I'm just going to focus on winning one trade or getting X amount of CS. If you aim for small victories, you can build a sense of accomplishment and maybe even build up bigger victories from there. At the very least, you improve the quality of your games, which will matter in the long run. Now you know what to do before and during, but what should you do after to recover from a tilting game? Some of the mental resetting and breathing techniques we covered earlier are useful here to help you recover from a tilting situation. Next on the list is to take a break. If you care about your rank in the long term, you need to at least take a short break in between games, especially if you're tilted. The length of your break should be equivalent to how tilted you are. If you are on a losing streak or especially tilted, you may need to take the day off. Sometimes you even need to take multiple days away from League and just have some time to unwind and relax. Do something you enjoy. Maybe play ARAMs so you can get yourself back to a strong mental state. Once you feel better and you aren't so tilted, one of the most effective long-term solutions to handle tilt is to reflect on what happened. Ask yourself questions. Are you tilted by your teammates? Consider if there was something you could have done better instead. Are you tilted at yourself? Maybe ask yourself why you're tilted and if there's a common thread. Are you tilted by something external? This can include something like lag or your power going out. But consider whether it's something that you can prevent or not. And remember that sometimes things happen. There are factors in a game that are completely out of our control, and worrying about them does us no good. In the long run, it all will hardly leave a scratch on your climb. Overall, forgive yourself for your mistakes and aim to learn and try better next time. It takes time to improve, and you should be patient with yourself. Dig deep into these reasons as you reflect. Consider where your tilt comes from, the root of the problem. As you better understand your own personal experience with tilt, the better you are equipped to handle it. Before you're off to the next video, we just want to say thank you for watching. We want to keep putting out high quality content. So if you have any video ideas you want us to tackle, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. Or you can message us on Discord, where Eric Lay will be offering free coaching sessions to our awesome YouTube subs. We will be releasing new content every Saturday, so subscribe if you want to keep seeing content like this. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.